What's up, guys? D-Rock 1992 here. For this next video and for my next About video, I'm going to be talking about one of the best actors going right now. One of the best. He's one of my favorites as I watch, as I've watched a lot of his movies, I've liked him more and more as an actor. He probably makes my top 10, too. And he is the voice of America and the voice of movies. He even played God a couple of times in movies. How cool is that? The guy I'm talking about is Morgan Freeman. He has had a long and prosperous career in Hollywood. Not a lot of people realize that he has really been a supporting actor all of his career. He's had some starring roles and things like that, co-starring roles. He never really has had that movie where he's been the guy. He mostly, especially now, he plays a lot of mentors to a lot of the younger actors, which I think is cool given his seniority. He's in his 70s. He's getting up there in age. So playing those types of roles is a good thing, definitely. But, going on to his film career. In the 1960s, he appeared in 3 uncredited roles, his first role being 1964's The Pawnbroker. All his roles in the 60s were uncredited. He kind of gets a breakthrough in some aspects with The Electric Company, which was a TV show back in the 70s. It was from 1971 to 1977, 6 seasons, 780 episodes. And The Electric Company is a children's television series, and Morgan Freeman was one of the stars of the show. And ironically, Bill Cosby was another big star of the show. He was on for 2 seasons. But yeah, Morgan Freeman definitely got his big breakthrough with The Electric Company. Got him noticed a little bit. His first non-uncredited role, his first credited role was 1980's Brubaker. A supporting role in the film, a Robert Redford film. And then he gets going on the movies. He really tries to establish a name for himself. And the movies that he's in the 80s aren't really huge movies. But another big breakthrough for him in movies. The breakthrough for him in movies was 1989's Glory, which is about the Civil War. Matthew Broderick is the main star, along with Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman. This is about the Civil War and the first black infantry that fought in the Civil War. The Union black infantry, a Union black infantry that fought in the Civil War. And in a certain battle. And it's a good movie, definitely. It's a very good movie. And he probably, if you ask me, Denzel Washington won the Academy Award for Glory for Best Supporting Actor. But if you ask me, Morgan Freeman should have won it. He was a better actor in my eyes than Denzel. But Morgan Freeman had been around for a while, so maybe the Academy wanted to award a newcomer in Denzel. So, his breakout, however, came also in 1989 with Driving Miss Daisy. That was his breakout, in my opinion. It really established him in Hollywood. It really was his movie. He co-stars in it with a woman named Jessica Tandy. But Driving Miss Daisy is a big success. It's a comedy drama. It's based on a play. And he plays the old woman's, Jessica Tandy's character's black driver. And they have a lot of chemistry in this movie. I've never seen Driving Miss Daisy, but I've heard it's a good movie, and I've heard... I mean, I think it's Morgan Freeman's breakout. He appears in 1990's The Bonfire of the Vanities, which is a Tom Hanks, Bruce Willis film. It is a supporting role. 1990 also, he appears in the miniseries about the Civil War, which is... I had the movies on home video. And this is a miniseries on TV. This is a documentary on CBS, on PBS, from Ken Burns, the filmmaker Ken Burns. And it is a... excuse me, it was about the American Civil War. And it's just... It's a really good documentary. 9 episodes of 9 parts of this documentary about the Civil War. Because the Civil War occurred for 4 years. Morgan Freeman provided the voice of Frederick Douglass in the miniseries, in the documentary. In 1991, he has a co-starring role with Kevin Costner in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is a very good Robin Hood adaptation movie. 1992, he appears alongside Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven. Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, and Richard Harris in Unforgiven, which is a Western film. And a memorable film, definitely. You could almost say, in 1994 was a good year. He only started one movie, but it was a big one, and it's considered one of the best movies of all time. I'm talking about The Shawshank Redemption. I watched it for the first time actually quite recently, a few months ago. And I have to say, I really liked the film. And I really liked his performance. He probably should have won the Academy Award for that film as well, for Shawshank Redemption. He stars in it with Tim Robbins, and... he is a guy, he plays a prisoner in the Shawshank prison, who, the main guy, Tim Robbins' character, is a guy who is unfairly accused, wrongfully accused of murdering his wife, and he gets life in prison in the Shawshank prison. And... this is actually a adaptation of a Stephen King book. So it's quite interesting. But The Shawshank Redemption is a really good movie. The guy, Tim Robbins' character, who's accused of murdering his wife, tries to figure out a way to escape from the horrors of the Shawshank prison. And it's a great role for Morgan Freeman. You could almost say that's his breakout role. I think Driving Miss Daisy was, but a lot of people probably have said Shawshank Redemption was his breakout. The next year, in 95, he stars in Seven, the movie I mentioned with Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, Kevin Spacey, and a few others. Seven is a psychological thriller type of film, and I talked about it with Brad Pitt. But yeah, Seven, another outstanding example of Morgan. This is an outstanding example of Morgan Freeman as the mentor character, the mentor type character. He was kind of that way in Shawshank. 1996, he stars in a movie with Keanu Reeves called Chain Reaction. He stars in the historical film Amistad. He is the main star in the movie Amistad, directed by Steven Spielberg in 1997. It's a historical drama, and Morgan Freeman is one of your main stars in the film. This is about the ship, a slave uprising in the 1800s. And I mean, Anthony Hopkins is in the film, and Matthew McConaughey. He plays a president in 1998's Deep Impact. It's a supporting role, and it's a Robert Duvall film, and it's a science fiction disaster film. But Deep Impact, another one where he plays a president. It was not the first time, it wasn't the only time, however, that he played a president. 2001, he appears as a character, the character Alex Cross from a series of books. He portrays Alex Cross is a whole series of books. There's a whole series of books about this guy. He's an agent, I believe, an agent for the FBI or something like that. Morgan Freeman appears as Alex Cross twice in Along Came a Spider, and there's also another one I think he stars in as well. And Kiss the Girls is the other one. Kiss the Girls and Along Came a Spider as Alex Cross. And again, Alex Cross is a popular character in movies. He's kind of a spy. He's a FBI agent, I believe. He's an African-American detective and psychologist based out of the southeast quadrant of Washington, D.C. So definitely interesting, and he played Alex Cross twice in those two movies I mentioned. He plays in a Jack Ryan movie. Jack Ryan is another popular character in books. In The Sum of All Fears, Ben Affleck plays Jack Ryan, and Morgan Freeman co-stars alongside him in that movie. 2003, he plays God in Bruce Almighty, a co-starring role along with Jim Carrey. Bruce Almighty is a very funny film, and Morgan Freeman does a good job as God. Let's see here. In 2004, he stars in a movie called $1 Million Baby, which is a big success. It's another collaboration between Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman, and also Hilary Swank is in the movie as well. And I believe that, yeah, Morgan Freeman won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Best Supporting Actor, rather. He won that Academy Award. And I think it's his only Academy Award win. He should have, like, 3 or 4 more. He's been so good. In 2005, he starts out with... He appears in Batman Begins as a minor character, but an important character. He appears in 3 Batman movies. Batman Begins in 2005, The Dark Knight in 2008, and The Dark Knight Rises in 2012. 2007, he reprises his role as God in Evan Almighty, which is a not as much of a success as Bruce Almighty. It has Steve Carell as the main character, but Evan Almighty, another chance for him to play God. 2007, Morgan Freeman appears in the movie The Bucket List, which is a movie he does with Jack Nicholson. 2 legendary actors, Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, in the same movie. I don't think the movie did very well, but The Bucket List is about these 2 guys who have a bucket list of things they want to do before they die. They both are terminally ill. Um, 2008. Besides starring in The Dark Knight, co-starring, he stars in a movie called Wanted with Angelina Jolie. He co-stars in the movie, at least. Angelina Jolie is in the movie, and James McAvoy. Um, Morgan Freeman again in this film plays a mentor type character. And also in 2008, he narrates The Love Guru, the Mike Myers movie that was such a critical failure. In 2009, he stars as Nelson Mandela, the famous South African leader, in the 2009 film Invictus. It's a starring role for Morgan Freeman, one of the rare starring roles. Matt Damon also is in the movie, and it's a Clint Eastwood directed film, and it was a very successful film. Morgan Freeman got nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor, and Matt Damon got nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So Invictus was definitely an important film. In 2010, he stars in the comedy action film Red. This is one with the main characters being Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, and Mary Louise Parker. Helen Mirren also in the film. And a small role for a supporting role for Morgan Freeman, whose character actually dies in the film, which is very sad, because you don't want Morgan Freeman to die. In 2011, he stars in the movie Dolphin Tale. It is a supporting role. It's a family drama type film. And it's a movie about dolphins, obviously. Dolphin Tale came out in 2011. Dolphin Tale 2 came out in 2014. So there were two movies about that. Let's see here. 2013 was a good year for Morgan Freeman. He starred in 4 fairly big movies. Olympus Has Fallen. He plays the speaker turned acting president Alan Trumbull. Olympus Has Fallen has Gerard Butler in the lead role, Aaron Eckhart, and Morgan Freeman. This is about North Korea, a Korean faction who takes over the White House. Codename for the White House is Olympus. They take over the White House, and Gerard Butler has to go save the day. Morgan Freeman has to act as the president and the leader of the nation in a time of crisis. And it's a good role for Morgan Freeman. Also in 2013, he stars alongside Tom Cruise in Oblivion. Olga Kurylenko, I think, is in this movie too. Bond girl. But yeah, another one there. Oblivion is a big budget, pretty big budget movie, a science fiction film. He starred in the movie Now You See Me, which is a magic type film, a magic heist film. And he's a supporting character in the movie. But Now You See Me turned out to be a pretty big success. And he's going to be starring in the sequel, Now You See Me, the second act, which is coming out in 2016. That second movie slated to come out June 10th of 2016. And then the other movie that he stars in 2013 is Las Vegas, which is a comedy type film where 4 old men go to Vegas. You have you have Michael Douglas, Robert De Niro, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Kline as the four older guys who go to Vegas. So, another one that he started in 2013. In 2014, this year, he voiced a character in the Lego Movie. A huge success the Lego Movie was. Transcendence was another movie he was in. He co-starred in the movie with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was the main star. Transcendence, of course, as I mentioned, is one of the big disappointments of the year. Another mixed bag was Lucy in 2014. He co-stars in the film with Scarlett Johansson. Lucy is about Johansson's character who can use 100% of her brain, I think, and she's dangerous when she does that, apparently. And Morgan Freeman is, again, a father-like character. As I mentioned, in 2014, he stars in Dolphin Tale 2. And he's got some movies coming up in the near future. There's a movie called Ruth and Alex, which he's going to star in which he actually did star in with Diane Keaton. It was an independent film, and it was released September 5th of this year. I don't know if it's going to get a wide release or not, but that was another one worth mentioning that he was in. He's going to be in a movie called The Last Night. I don't know when the movie's going to be released, but the movie itself, it's with Clive Owen and Morgan Freeman. It centers on a band of warriors who seek to avenge the loss of their master at the hands of a corrupt emperor. So it's a nice, it looks like an interesting movie. He is going to be in the sequel to Ted 2. It's not announced what role he's going to play in the movie, but another Ted film, sign me up. I'm excited for it. And then he's also going to be in Ted 2, actually, is slated to come out June 26th of next year. He's also going to be in the movie London Has Fallen, which is the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen. It's going to have the same people, Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, and Morgan Freeman. And the plot of the movie. The story picks up in London, where the British Prime Minister has passed away under mysterious circumstances. His funeral is a must-attend event for leaders of the Western world. But what starts out as the most protected event on Earth turns into a deadly plot to kill the world's most powerful leaders and unleash a terrifying vision of the future. Only 3 people have any hope of stopping it. The President of the United States of America, Benjamin Asher, Aaron Eckhart plays him, his formidable Secret Service head, Mike Banning, who's played by Gerard Butler, and an English MI6 agent who rightly trusts no one. So it looks interesting, and Morgan Freeman actually plays the Vice President in the film, because I believe the Vice President in Olympus Has Fallen died. She was executed, I think. But yeah, Olympus Has Fallen was a great action film. London Has Fallen, I hope it's the same thing. London Has Fallen is coming out October 2nd of next year. And then, as I mentioned, he's going to be in the Now You See Me sequel. That's slated to come out June 10th of 2016. And those are the movies that are coming up for Morgan Freeman. I don't really know if there's any other ones that I can think of. There were rumors about... There was a question being put up by somebody about, is there going to be a Las Vegas second movie? I haven't seen it. I didn't see it in theaters. My mom actually saw it, and she really liked it. So definitely, he's been in sequels before, so Definitely Morgan Freeman has experience with that. That's it for the filmography. For television, I mean, as I said, he started out in the electric company. He actually was in a soap opera, Another World, which was a soap opera that ran for 35 seasons. He actually was in that soap opera for about 3 seasons. And then he makes a cameo as himself in 2010 for Saturday Night Live. And because of his amazing voice, he has made a lot of narrations. He's narrated a lot of documentaries. He narrated a documentary, The Hunting of the President, in 2004, which was a documentary about Bill Clinton. Slavery in the Making of America in 2004, about slavery. March of the Penguins in 2005. Through the Wormhole from 2010 to 2014, which is a kind of science fiction type thing. So he's definitely lent his voice to a lot of documentaries, and he's narrated a lot. He's narrated quite a bit of different things, which I think is very neat. He's been on Broadway. He portrayed a character in The Taming of the Shrew, the William Shakespeare play. Julius Caesar, he portrayed. He portrayed a character in Julius Caesar. So the guy can do it all. He can do a lot of different things. He's a very successful actor, and I do not see him slowing down at any point. He is one of the best. He's one of the best actors in Hollywood right now, in my opinion. He's one of my favorites. He would be a top 10 person for me, definitely. He's been a steady force in Hollywood for a long time, and I don't look for him to slow down one bit. There's been some criticism that he's kind of phoned in some of his appearances, and being in a lot of movies like Morgan Freeman has been in, there are going to be some clunkers once in a while, some bad movies. But it hasn't affected him because he's been in every movie, pretty much. He's been in a lot of movies, continuing to be in a lot of movies. So I think that's neat to see. He's not affected by the criticism of some of his movies. So that's it for the Morgan Freeman video. A long time coming, pretty much, for this video. D-Rock 1992 out.